This room's always so cold. That's why I won't check now today. It's warm.
Warm outside today.
But it's been warm outside before. It never looked like ice cream. Have you ever come to
Yeah.
the
Sometimes
lodge called Ice Bar?
Okay.
You there?
Yeah. Okay. Call to order the September 11th, 2025 Planning Commission. We will start the meeting with an invocation and a pledge of allegiance, followed by the meeting procedures. So could we get, I'd get Commissioner Scott to provide the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal God, we thank you for this opportunity to be here this evening. We thank you as citizens and commissioners of this great city that we have come to this point, this juncture, to make decisions that will help our city operate and function better. We pray now that you will help us to make good decisions that benefit all citizens. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, please stand and hold me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to go over some meeting procedures now. First of all, I would suggest that if you plan to speak on one of the items, please sign up on the sign-up sheets in the back. So, in terms of procedures, please speak clearly into the microphone at the podium so that everyone can hear. When your name is called, please come to the podium. Address your comments to the Planning Commission, not to the audience. Any questions you ask will be answered once everyone who has signed up has spoken. So we understand that you may have strong feelings one way or the other. Out of courtesy, unless it is your turn to speak, please remain silent. Please refrain from applauding, cheering, booing, or other verbal outbursts. So this is a fact-finding hearing. There's no need to repeat what has already been said. If a previous speaker has stated the points that you wish to make, you may simply acknowledge that so that the hearing may proceed. The applicant will have 5 minutes to speak, and other speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. So we ask you to please respect those time limits. Okay. Ms. Sweet Dobbs, could you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Rick Ramick, and Commissioner Ramick did let us know that he would not be able to attend this evening. Brian Gerke,
Present.
Willa Stone,
Here.
Corey Scott,
Present.
LaDonte Walker,
Here.
Bill Lamond,
Here.
Janice Davis,
Present.
Bill Vowell, who also did notify us that he would be unavailable this evening, and Bart Stafford.
Present. All right, thank you. May I have a motion and a second for approval of last month's meeting minutes?
I move approval of last month's previous meeting's minutes.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. So now we'll move to approval of the agenda. May I have a motion and a second for approval of tonight's agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So the first part of our agenda is the consent agenda, and we've got a couple of items on the consent agenda. So may I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with staff findings and recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Director Selman, could you please present the consent agenda?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on the consent agenda is WCFCU 25-122, 109 Cedar Street, a conditional use application to increase the height of existing wireless communication tower by 10 feet. The recommendation is for approval with findings that the application demonstrates submission requirements of Hot Springs Code 1628.3 CC. Those requirements have been met. The application is complete. A determination of no hazard to air navigation letter has been submitted documenting FAA approval of the height at this site. Written variance request was submitted consistent with the FAA approval to correct current issues with current coverage and a large number of reports of lack of adequate coverage. This meets the requirement of Hot Springs Code Section 1628.3 CC and related code sections. The recommendation for approval has 4 conditions. I will read the recommendation and conditions into the record. Approve application WCFCU 25-122 to increase the height of this communications tower from 150 to 160 feet, that being 161 feet to the top of the appurtenance, and to modify the stealth canister by increasing the diameter to 48 inches and increase the length to approximately 22.5 inches. With the following conditions, because with the conditions, the requirements of Hot Springs Code Section 1628.3 CC are met. Number 1, tower modification shall be made in strict accordance with approved site, construction, and development plans. Number 2, tower modifications shall be consistent with the FAA determination of no hazard to air navigation and any conditions contained therein. Number 3, approve the tower height variance request from 150 feet to 160 feet, that being 160 feet to the top of the appurtenance. And number 4, construction permits shall be obtained prior to commencement of work as may be required. Item number 2 on consent is LS 25-120. This is at 109 Oma Street. This is a minor subdivision application to replat lots 11 and 12 in Block 10 of Bush Park Addition subdivision into 3 lots. The recommendation is for approval of the application LS 25-120 that would result in lots 11R, 12R, and 13. And it would need to be consistent with plan development application PD 25-0119 with a number of conditions, 3. The first is that plan development approval application for Bush Park Addition, Block 10, lots 11R, 12R, and 13. Plan development PD 25-119 must be approved by the City of Hot Springs Board of Directors. Number 2, Board of Directors approval is required prior to execution and recording of a final plat establishing the requested reduced lot sizing and building setbacks. And number 3, the plat must be filed with Garland County Circuit Clerk's Office, and a recorded copy shall be returned to the Planning Department within 30 days of the Planning Director's execution thereof, or this approval will become null and void. That completes the reports on the consent agenda items.
Okay. Did we have anybody sign up for items on the consent agenda, or?
No, sir.
No? Okay. All right. Very good. Ms. Sweet Dobbs, would you please take the roll on the motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, sir. Brian Gerke,
Approve.
Wallace Stone,
Approve.
Corey Scott,
Approved.
LaDontae Walker,
Approve.
Bill Lamont,
Approve.
Janice Davis,
Approved.
and Bart Stafford.
Approved. Okay, so the next section of our agenda is the new business section. So Director Selman, would you please introduce the next item?
Thank you. The next item is item number 3, a rezone 25-115 at 500 Quapaw Avenue. This is a zone change request from RN5 Residential Neighborhood 5 to CN Commercial Neighborhood for lots 1 to 3, Block 102 in the Hot Springs Reservation subdivision.
Okay, a motion to approve merely gets the matter on the floor for discussion. A motion and a second do not necessarily mean that you're in favor of an application. May I have a motion and a second to approve the item with staff findings and recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
All right, very good. Director Selman, could you please present the staff report on the item?
Thank you. The applicant is Tina Cox, representing a property owner Chimunivik Partnership Limited. She is seeking commercial neighborhood zoning for approximately 1.32 acres of land located at the corner of Orange Street and Quapaw Avenue. Subject property is currently zoned residential neighborhood 5, has future land use classifications of residential medium-high density, and is located in Board of Directors District Number 1. This property is located at 500 Quapaw. It is lots 1 to 3 in Block 102. It is currently developed with 2 commercial structures known as the Quapaw Community Center. This site is approximately 500 feet northwest from Washita Avenue. It's 1,300 feet northwest of Central Avenue. There's approximately 170 feet of street frontage on Orange Street and approximately 360 feet of street frontage on Quapaw Avenue. Surrounding zoning to the west is residential neighborhood 2. To the south is residential neighborhood 5 and neighborhood commercial. To the north is residential neighborhood 5 and neighborhood commercial. To the east is neighborhood commercial. Adjacent and nearby land uses include, but aren't limited to, business offices, multifamily residential, single-family residential, multi-tenant commercial buildings, and law offices. Hot Springs Code Section 16.2.5, Commercial Districts, 5.1, Purpose B for the Neighborhood Commercial District says, the CN Neighborhood Commercial District is intended to accommodate convenience commercial and personal service uses that primarily serve nearby residential neighborhoods, often in a nodal development form. The Hot Springs zoning code requires that certain standards be met for map amendments. Those are compatibility with surrounding development or zoning, the extent to which the proposed amendment creates nonconformities, that it responds to a significant change in surrounding physical, economic, land use, or other conditions, that it implements an approved city plan, including the comprehensive plan, the consistency of the proposed amendment with the objectives of the code, that it fulfills a demonstrated public need or corrects an error in previous map amendment action. This property was constructed as a commercial building, operated as one, and according to the applicant, will never be a residential property. Jay Lawson of CrossFit Hot Springs has been a tenant since 2013. The applicant's narrative statement includes that rezoning it to CN would correct nonconformities for our current tenant, as their use is not an allowed use under the RN5 zoning. This property is consistent with the concept and description for the neighborhood commercial zone in Hot Springs Code, therefore is consistent with the objective of the zoning code. The property's future land use classification of residential medium high is not consistent with the requested CN zoning. Therefore, a future land use plan map amendment to office center is recommended, which would support the requested neighborhood commercial zoning. A future land use map designation of office center would be consistent with other adjacent neighborhood commercial zone properties to the east and northeast, as well as in the downtown area. The applicant has successfully demonstrated that the standards in Hot Springs Code for favorable consideration have been met. Planning Commission would be able to establish a basis for recommending to the Board of Directors that the proposed change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development and zoning and is consistent with the objectives of the zoning code. In addition, the standard regarding nonconformity, this change would in fact correct a nonconformity with the existing use and historic uses not being conforming in a residential zone district. Recommendation to Planning Commission is that you recommend that the Board of Directors adopt an ordinance amending the zoning map by designating the subject property neighborhood commercial district because the change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development and zoning and is consistent with the objectives of the zoning code, and also to amend the future land use plan map designating the property office center. That completes the staff report.
All right, thank you, Director Selman. Now could I please ask the applicant to come forward? Please give your name and address for the record and let us know if there's anything else you'd like to add. You have 5 minutes.
Yes, good evening. My name is Tina Cox, and I'm with Temanovic Partnership. A little about myself. I've been in the real estate business for over 25 years. I hold a broker's license in the state of Texas, and I have a degree in real estate and a passion for historical properties. I moved to Hot Springs in 17. I had purchased the Happy Hollow on Fountain Street, and I've done a full renovation of that property, as well as the house that I lived in on Prospect Avenue. When I started working with Temanovic Partnership, I asked to invest in the neighborhood, and they allowed me to acquire 7 properties in the neighborhood. The property in question, 500 Quapaw, is one of them. As you can see, it's a commercial property. It was the old YWCA. It was constructed in '52 prior to zoning laws. And it's been a whole plethora of services that have gone on in there, from pool memberships to ballroom rental, and they've had offices in there. And the reason why I'm coming today to ask for rezoning is predominantly for my tenant, which I had inherited when I acquired the property. Jay Lawson with CrossFit has been there since 2013, and his running a fitness facility is not an accepted business to have there. And I'd really like to be able to turn it back into a community center and also consider end users, such as possibly a small medical or dental clinic, salon. These would all be like neighborhood-centric types of users. And I'd also like to lease out the ballrooms and have activities again at the property. That's my train of thought.
It's okay, it happens to me all the
I
time.
had it and it's gone. But yeah, that's just my desire today. You know, I live in the neighborhood, and I'd like to start on this project. And to have this ability to have it under CN, that would allow me to have it as a community center and also consider larger end users for this property. Because if right now, nothing's permitted of what I'd like to do for this type.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So at this point, if there's anyone signed up to speak, see, do we have the sign-up sheet?
I signed up.
Yeah, we. So when I call your name, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, present your comments to the commission, and you have 3 minutes. Yeah. All right. Tanya Wooten. Again, name and address and 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Tanya Wooten. I'm at 200 Violet Street in the Quapaw Prospect neighborhood. I've been a homeowner and full-time resident of the neighborhood for the past 8 years. I've been visiting Hot Springs since the early 90s when our family built a home in Hot Springs Village. So in some respects, I'm aware of the improvements to the city and to this neighborhood that have occurred over the last 30 years. I'm not here to argue or debate for or against the zoning change request for our former Quapaw Community Center yet. Instead, I'm here to ask specific questions in order to make an informed decision about whether or not to support the zoning change. Some of my questions are, what are the perceived benefits to our neighborhood residents here in the historic neighborhood if the property and its plan development is zone changed to commercial rather than remaining conditional? Why does it have to change? I understand that the activity center could also apply under a conditional permit. Why not renovate the community center into a community center with recreational activity for the neighborhood rather than as a commercial zone building or offices? Question 2, what studies have been made about the impact from the increase of traffic in our neighborhood? These will be non-residential clients for, I would assume, guess. There are already existing issues from nearby commercial buildings with truck traffic. What about the required parking, or lot improvements, metered street parking? I know that's going on Washita. And let's see, public transportation. The Hawthorne Corner has been a bus stop area. I've run into that. So I'm curious about what the timeline is from the city street department for this increase of traffic. Violet, where I live, has not yet been completed for the street improvements. It was regraded, but none of the street markings for the one-way section have been implemented yet. So potentially, how soon after the community center is rezoned will the neighboring lots across the street that are also owned by the same company be changed to commercial once the commercial border for the historic neighborhood have been moved from Orange Street to Hawthorne? Because with the incorporation of the commercial zoning, from what I understand, the historic neighborhood previously had Orange Street as the border, as well as Levi Hospital for Prospect. And those are all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, I think some of those questions could best be answered by the applicant. And can we just,
You may want to hear from everyone
Yeah.
before you bring the applicant back.
okay, we may address some of these things.
Okay, these are questions I've compiled from some of my neighbors as well, so
Okay.
that'd be helpful. Thank you.
You bet. All right. Lydia Vidanage.
Hi there, I'm Lydia Vidonagay at 654 Prospect Avenue. Tina was my neighbor my direct neighbor for many, many years. So
I've seen what she can do to an historical property, and it's wonderful. So when all of this came up, of course, the term commercial comes into our sweet little historic neighborhood, and we all get very tense. We've fought these battles before, and then I, in our little group chat, brought up a lot of questions that I had about how in the world was this ever residentially placed, but hearing you guys talk about the type of residential it was listed as, it makes a little bit more sense, but I'm a 6th grade teacher, so I just stay in my place. But residential doesn't seem to fit here, but I understand the concerns about commercial, but I've also, again, seen everything that Tina touches seems to turn to gold, so I'm here in support of what she would like, because I know that her best interest is for our community and for our historic neighborhood that she's poured her time and years and money and effort into. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Jennifer Bridges. Okay, thank you for that. Next, we have Jean Miller.
My question was parking. I believe it was addressed.
Okay, very good. And then Denise DiCarlo.
My name's Denise DiCarlo. I live at 465 Prospect, which is just there's an apartment in my house up from the Quapaw Center. I think it's a wonderful idea. I completely support it becoming a community center again. My concern is in 10, 20 years, what is going to happen if they decide to sell? Once you change a property over to commercial, it's almost impossible to put it back to residential. I would strongly recommend it become a CUP or a zone variance. So then if anything happens, because in 20 years, if they want to sell, it's commercial property. They can rip it down. They can build whatever they want there. And I've seen this happen before. But if we do a variance, it's very specific. Like everybody gets covered. Everything's in the variance saying it can have dental, it can have salons, it can have parking, it can have all these things. And if you do that, then everyone's covered. CrossFit is covered as well. And the neighborhood is happy, and at least the neighborhood still has some control. Once that commercial zoning happens, the neighborhood will no longer have any control over it once it moves over. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I think that's the last person that signed up. So public discussion on the item is now closed. Commissioners, do we have any questions? Or do you want to go back and address some of the questions that were raised?
Were you going to call the applicant back to address
Yeah,
those?
that would make sense. Are there any of the items that you heard presented, either pro or not, that you'd like to address?
They had mentioned the lots across the street. Those are, I believe they're RN2. I have no desire to do anything with that. That's going to stay residential for as long as we own it.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm going to apply for the property at 500 Quapaw and then go back and do the lots across the street.
Okay.
So there's no worry in that. The CN zoning is right next door at the bed and breakfast. You know, all I'm asking is it to extend and include our property. And then I was trying to think of any of the other questions that they had.
I think I heard some questions about parking, traffic, that sort of thing.
There's 2 parking lots. There's one that faces Orange, and then there's one on Hawthorne. And I have some green space there that it's fenced. When they had a daycare facility at the bottom floor of the building for a while, I was considering possibly going into that to create more parking. My goal is to have everybody off the street. I believe there's plenty of space in that.
Okay. All right. Director Selman, were there any of those issues that you want to address?
No. If you are done with the applicant, I do have one thing to mention.
All right then. Very good. Thank you.
The question of a use variance. A use variance is not a lawful option under our code. There has been discussion of a conditional use in a residential zone. If I could look at your book. Thanks.
Unfortunately, yeah, you have to turn it around.
That's okay. I can do that. That would be an option with the existing zoning.
Which would be an option?
Community center?
Oh, yeah. So the point has been made that if the ownership of the property changes, the zoning designation doesn't change, that would go with it. That same thing is true for any of the properties here in Hot Springs, and it may come with what people consider risk opposed, when it comes to some conditional uses or permitted uses for that zone. But that's something that we can't consider really what might happen in the future in that respect. So we just have to address what we have in front of us. Commissioners, do y'all have any questions?
I would ask Ms. Cox, did you consider other zoning options or have any discussion with the city about that?
When I was researching the zoning in the area, I just considered what was closest to us to complement and extend into our property. And from what I understand, that question that you had about the conditional use, a community center is a conditional use, but that's if it gets approved. Permitted uses of, a fitness facility, I have to have a zoning change for that, to have that as an allowed use. So I'm kind of stuck in that, and I don't know what to do with my tenant. I do want to ensure that he can still have his business and run it.
But does he currently have his business?
He does. He started in 2013 when it was a Quapaw Community Center.
So you intend to keep the current tenant but also add additional tenants because he's not occupying the whole space?
Correct. He is mainly in the gymnasium.
Oh, okay.
But he does have access to the rest of the building.
Just out of interest, do you have any prospects for businesses that?
No, I
would
have
want
no
to move in?
prospects. I really just wanted to get this settled so I could see what I could do with it
Okay.
and have that assurance with the money that needs to get invested on the inside of the property to make it leasable.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before she goes, Ms. Cox, would you address the question of the overall benefit or specific other benefits you see to the neighborhood as a resident?
I believe it would be nice to have, just a neighborhood-centric types of businesses there, so we don't have to travel very far. If it's a doctor's office or a dental clinic or salon, to just have it there.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
I do have one thing. The fear of creeping commercial zoning. You do have an option, which isn't in the staff report, with regard to the future land use plan map, would be to go with a commercial enclave, which would kind of designate it as a we're going to stop here type of use, rather than going with office center. I mean, that is an option that you would have if you are looking for something that says we're dealing with this property only, and we would like to make the point that we're looking to contain commercial development in the neighborhood. So commercial enclave would be an option that would exist. Would require an amendment to your motion to approve, but is something that might be helpful if you're looking for that.
So with the conclave, does that mean, as she stated, in 20 years, it'll still have to be, it would still be commercial, but it would be commercial enclave, so that.
Well, we're looking at the zoning map, neighborhood commercial,
Yes.
CN, and you're also dealing with the future land use plan map, which is your bigger
Picture.
vision. To designate a commercial enclave might provide additional reassurance that this is to cure a nonconformity that exists between the existing use that's there and the existing zoning, which is residential, and clearly that is nonconforming. So the change of zone would accomplish curing the nonconformity, and the change of the land use plan map to commercial enclave kind of contains it somewhat.
Is this an option that was discussed with the applicant? I mean, is this?
I do not know
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Ask a question,
Yeah.
make mention of something? I was considering something else, in our group me for the neighborhood, there are some concerns of the types of uses, because I put your matrix up and circled what would be exactly different from RN5 to CN. And I shared that with the neighbors, and I think one of them was a car wash that showed some concern in a drive-through. I'm not too familiar with this, but deed restrictions, I wouldn't have a problem with creating a deed restriction to place on the property to omit those types of businesses, if that would quell, the concern of future owners of the property.
And that would be something that would be beyond Planning Commission's
Okay.
ability to facilitate.
Okay, that would be something I would initiate.
That would be something
Okay.
that you would do.
And I don't have a problem with that at all, because I really just want it specifically for those reasons for my current tenant and to offer some sort of neighborhood-centric businesses.
Okay. Director Selman, can we change the motion on this so that it
Yes.
would be
You
to a
can.
commercial enclave?
Yes, and that is your future land use plan map designation. The zoning still would be neighborhood commercial, but you do have, at the end of your motion to approve, it now says to amend the future land use plan map to designate the property office center, with a motion to amend that portion of your motion to commercial enclave. You would have that amendment to vote on, and then vote on your amended motion to approve, if you feel that would be of value in this situation.
And if we do that, she would still have the full use, according to the table,
Yes.
for CN.
Of her zone, yes, she
Okay.
would. She would.
And yet, Ms. Cox, is that something that you would like to see?
I'm not really sure what that is. I need to investigate it a little bit further. Now, that would make it a CN?
It would.
Still be a
Yes, it's
CN?
still-
It would
yeah.
still
And then
be
the
CN.
commercial enclave would do what? Just limit it?
It would, in the event of future applications surrounding you, to say that we are looking at our future land use.
It would just end there?
It should
Forever.
end there,
Okay,
yes.
no, I support that.
Okay, very good. So
Yeah.
we'll need to make some amended motions to address that. It's going to be kind of a complicated series, or a couple of motions working together here. Is that-
Well, if it would be helpful, I could say that you, if your intention is to amend the future land use plan map to designate the property commercial enclave, that you would request someone to so move, then you will vote on that amendment, and then vote on the revised or amended recommendation. Again, designating the property to CN, Neighborhood Commercial, as requested. The only change is the amendment to the future land use plan map to commercial enclave.
Okay, I move that we amend the recommendation to change the future land use map designation to commercial enclave.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now, we'd address that motion and then go to the second motion. Is that correct?
Yes, now you would vote on your motion to approve as amended.
Very good. So, Ms. Sweet Dobbs, could we please call the roll on the motion to approve with the amended motion?
Yes, sir. Corey Scott,
Approved.
LaDonte Walker,
Approve.
Bill Lamond,
Approved.
Janice Davis,
Approved.
Brian Gerke,
Approve.
Wallace Stone,
Approve.
and Bart Stafford.
Approve.
Okay, your vote is 7-0 to approve the rezone as amended, and it is approved, and it will be heard by the Board of Directors at their first meeting in October. Let's look at that date.
That'd be the 7th, I think.
That does sound right. So October 7th at 6 o'clock in this hearing room, the Board of Directors will act upon Planning Commission's recommendation, and they will make the final determination.
All right, thank you. So, Director Selman, could you please introduce the next item?
I certainly will. I just have to find it. Here we go. Item number 4 is Plan Development 25119 at 109 Oma Street. This is a PD development plan application to allow for smaller lot sizing and reduced building setbacks in the RN5 zone district to provide affordable housing.
Okay, a motion to approve merely gets the matter on the floor for discussion. A motion and a second do not necessarily mean that you're in favor of an application. May I have a motion and a second to approve the item with staff findings and recommendations?
So move. Second.
All right, Director Selman, could you please present the staff report on that item?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is Garland County Habitat for Humanity, represented by Executive Director Cindy Wagstaff. They're requesting PD development plan approval to allow for lots 11 and 12 to be divided into 3 separate lots for single-family affordable housing infill development in an existing older neighborhood. The plan development approval application seeks smaller lot sizing and reduced building setbacks in the RN5 Residential Neighborhood 5 district to accomplish this affordable housing goal. The subject property is lots 11 and 12, block 10 of Bush Park Addition. The property dimensions are approximately 101 feet by 145 feet. There's approximately 14,570 square feet of land. There is double street frontage on Oma and Castleton streets. The surrounding zoning to the west is Residential Neighborhood 5, as well as to the south, the north, and the east. Adjacent and nearby land uses include but are not limited to single-family residential. An application to replat Bush Park Addition, Block 10, lots 11 and 12, and that is LS 25-120, was acted upon conditioned upon the approval of this PD development plan and is contingent upon board approval of the PD. The narrative provides project details and justification for the requested deviation from the Residential Neighborhood 5 District standards. The minimum RN5 lot size for a single-family attached home is 4,250 square feet per dwelling. This is for an attached single-family homes. But 6,500 square feet is required per single-family detached dwellings. Lots 11 and 12 with 14,000 plus square feet. If developed with single-family attached, 3 homes would be permitted in this zoning. Habitat's successful homeownership model facilitates affordable single-family home ownership on individual lots. The applicant seeks approval for 3 single-family detached rather than attached homes on lots 11R, 12R, and 13. The impact of 3 detached homes versus 3 attached homes is pretty much identical. While lots 11 and 12 total size of 14,000 plus square feet is sufficient to support 1 detached single-family home, 1 on each lot, or 3 attached homes across both lots 11 and 12, it falls somewhat short when it comes to being divided into 3 individual lots for single-family ownership. The findings are that the application demonstrates that Hot Springs Code 16.2.14.4 plan development, purpose, authorization, exceptions from district regulations, initiation, procedures, and effect of approval have been or can, subject to conditions, be met. The plan development approval application requires Board of Directors approval per Hot Springs Code 16.2.14.4E2C. Additionally, Board of Directors approval is required prior to execution and recording of the final plat establishing requested lot sizing and building setbacks. The recommendation is that Planning Commission accept the findings and recommendation of the staff report to recommend that the Board of Directors amend the zoning map for Bush Park Addition, Block 10, lots 11 and 12, to add Castleton-Oma Plan Development, PD, to the existing RN5 Residential Neighborhood 5 Zone District in accordance with the procedures and standards of Hot Springs Code Section 16.2.14.4, subject to the approved development plan with conditions. That Planning Commission recommend that the Board of Directors adopt an ordinance approving application PD 25-119 for lots 11 and 12, Block 10 in Bush Park Addition, with the following, allowing the following exceptions to the district dimensional regulations for the planned development of 3 attainable houses on individual lots. Number 1, after development plan approval, the development plan will constitute the regulations applicable to the subject property. The planned development must be developed in accordance with the development plan rather than the RN5 zone district regulations otherwise applicable to the property. Violation of any condition is a violation of this code and constitutes grounds for revocation of all approvals granted for the planned development. Number 2, per section 14.4.C.3, a subsequent Planning Commission approved Hot Springs Code compliant land division of Bush Park Addition, Block 10, lots 11 and 12, consistent with PD development plan approval, is required in order that the subject land may be divided from 1 lot into 3 lots, 2 fronting Elm Street and 1 fronting Castleton Street. Number 3, the PD development plan must reflect the following. A driveway must not exceed 24 feet width through the right-of-way. The driveway must have a 5-foot radius to each side. The radius must intersect the back of curb. The side yard setbacks. D, parking areas dimensions drawn to scale. And E, parking lot drive aprons. Number 4, the final plat shall not be executed or recorded prior to Board of Directors approval. Number 5, building permits shall not be issued prior to Board of Directors approval and final plat recording. Number 6, the driveway must be 6 inches thick, 3,000 PSI concrete, and steel reinforced from the road edge through the right-of-way to the property line. Number 7, the curb is to be restored at the existing curb cut drive locations during construction of the new driveway. Number 8, a driveway inspection will be required prior to pouring concrete. And that should be scheduled with the engineering department when formwork and reinforcements are in place, and the phone number is provided for that, and that completes the staff report.
All right, thank you, Director Sullivan. That's a lot. One question I had about the second item. I don't know if I'm reading this incorrectly, but it says in order that the subject land may be divided from 1 lot into 3 lots. Should that be 2 lots?
It should be 2 lots into 3 lots. Yes,
Okay.
it should.
I didn't know if that would make a difference in the way this is recorded or.
It would be most helpful to correct it. Yep.
Okay. Can I please get the applicant to come forward and provide your name and address and provide us with any further information? You've got 5 minutes.
I'm Cindy Wagstaff, the Executive Director at Garland County Habitat for Humanity. We're located at 240 Hobson Avenue. I think Kathy adequately described the project. We have been gifted this property that is currently 3 lots. They're pretty good sized lots, and so our desire is to turn them into 3 little bit smaller lots, and the lots are the new size is really more of the sweet spot of what we typically build on, so a little bit smaller. We have built approximately 10 homes in this neighborhood, from Oma and Castleton and up on Edemy, and some of the lots we have not requested smaller sizes, so there's some the lots are various sizes, so it's not all cookie cutter necessarily. So we feel that this would fit in very well where it's located. It's not going to negatively impact the traffic. So yeah, we feel it's a very good fit.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone else signed up to speak? No?
No, sir.
In that case, public discussion is now closed. Do we have any questions from commissioners? All right, very good. Then, Ms. Sweet Dobbs, could you please call the roll on the motion to approve?
Yes, sir. Bill Lamond,
Approve.
Janice Davis,
Approved.
LaDonte Walker,
Approve.
Corey Scott,
Approve.
Brian Gerke,
Approve.
Wallace Stone,
Approve.
and Bart Stafford.
Approve.
Okay, by a vote of 7-0, Planning Commission recommends approval. This item also will be heard at the first board meeting in October, and that is the 7th of October at 6 o'clock in this chamber. And at that time, the board will act upon Planning Commission's recommendation to approve this PD and will make the final decision.
All right. We're done with the new business section of the agenda. Moving on to the director's report.
Yeah, we actually have some very important stuff to cover here. The first thing is a reminder that 3 consecutive absences by a planning commissioner equals automatic resignation. And I want to reinforce how much I would miss you if you are not on planning commission. So please try to be here. Obviously, I'm speaking to the people who are here. If you cannot make it, please let us know in advance so that we can be sure that we have made arrangements to have a quorum available to vote. And that's me saying, please stay on planning commission. And if there's any way that we can help you get here, be here, whatever,
So that-
please.
Sit in Uber for it.
Whatever it takes.
So that
Yeah.
consecutive, for clarity, that consecutive pertains to the planning commission meetings, not
Meetings,
necessarily
not-
the
no.
agenda meetings.
No,
Yeah,
not the
thank you.
agenda meeting, not the work session. What it says is meetings. And
But
so-
that's without contacting.
Yes, let's
Yeah.
go with that, yes. Please let us know. Okay, the second one is kind of a fun thing. The City of Hot Springs received a grant for a Safe Streets and Roads project, and a part of that is a walk audit. And there will be 2 opportunities to join with, we hardly ever say there are fun things coming up with the engineering department, but this is going to be cool. On September 18th from 9 to noon, depending, September 25th from 9 to noon, there is an opportunity to join a small group who are involved with the Safe Streets and Roads project to take a look at certain blocks on Central Avenue on one of those dates and a certain area on Albert Pike on the other date. And if that's something you'd be interested in, please let me know, or please let Dawn know, so that we can, I mean, it's coming right up. The 18th is next week, and the 25th is the week after. But it might be kind of interesting, and what they are looking for from this walk audit is your comments on steps that could be taken to improve safety for vehicles, for pedestrians, for any users of that stretch of road. And if you haven't done this before, I think you would find it more interesting than I'm making it sound. That's about the best I can do there.
And what time?
But it's 9 to noon. 9 to noon.
Do we know which stretches of those?
I don't, but if you're interested, I can email that out to you to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send it to the whole board.
Yeah, we'll send
Whole
it to the whole
commission.
group.
And then if we want to come, just RSVP.
Yes, just need to know if you're coming. And I don't know any more about the logistics than I have just told you.
Well, can I ask this? Is the walk on the 18th going to be the same as on the 25th?
I don't think so. I
It's
think
two
they're
different
2
locations.
different areas. Mhm. Yeah. I will tell you that one of the people who was managing the bus system several years ago insisted on scheduling a staff meeting at a place on Albert Pike, and I'm going to say forcing us to get there by using the bus. And the bus ride was great, but trying to cross the street was terrifying. So I think this is something that that could be beneficial if you have the time so that you can, get your perspectives involved in the results of this. But I'll email that out to you. I'll try to do that tomorrow.
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
It sounds
Yeah.
like a long walk.
Well, I don't know that
Just
you'll be
say it up
in motion the
Okay.
entire time.
Okay, okay. If I should bring a snack or water.
Yeah, bring water.
I would bring water, and
Some
if you're,
liquid is refreshing.
yeah, if you're a snack kind of person, you
Okay.
bring a snack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some breadcrumbs.
I don't think the grant covered snacks,
Okay.
so. Bring whatever you would like. Anyway, is that it, Don? Is that all we had?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. So, yeah, keep coming to the meetings, number one, and bring a snack if you want to go on the walk audit. And I'll let you know all the details.
Excellent. Sounds like there's just one thing missing. Can we get
A
a motion
motion?
to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We're adjourned.
Okay. That was good.